Ishtam manamapi Sachiputram Atra Surupam Rupam Tasyakajam Uripurim Maturim Goshtvatim Radha Kundam Girivaram Ahoradika Madhuvasam Rapto Yasya Pratita Kripaya Sri Guru Tamanatosmi Gurave Gaura Chandraya Radhikaya Itadale Krishnaya Krishna Bhaktaya Tad Bhaktaya Namo Namah Ananda Leelamaya Vigrahaya He Mabhadivyatschavi Sundaraya Tasman Mahaprema Rasa Pradaya Chaitanya Chandraya Namo Namaste Chaitanya Chandraya Namo Namaste Chaitanya Chandraya Namo Namaste Bhakta-vinda Aparadalakshmi Jivasudhamari Gaurapavadi Vihipamahikam Shanam Prapadaha Vrinde Namasti Vrinde Namasti Charavinda Sundar Shikanda Shikar Smaraha Samurali Manada Radhika Rasakamama Kripanidhe Supriya Charna King Kurim Kuru Tavaivasmi Najivami Tayavana Jivikaya Devi Tam Nayamam Charnatikam. First of all, I offer my Sastang Dandavat Puspanjali, my heart like flowers thousands of times at the lotus feet of my holy master, my supremely worshipable spiritual Gurudev, Asmadhiya Paramaradhatama Guru Pada Padma, Nityalila Pravishta Om Vishnupada, Ashtoltarasta Sri Rupanugachari Varya, Srila Bhakti Vedanta Narayan Goswami. Secondly, I have my pranam thousands of times at the lotus feet of my Param Gurudev, to Srila Prabhupada and to all of our Sri Rupanuga Gaudiya Guru Parampara. And finally, I offer my pranam to all the assembled Vaishnavas and Vaishnavis Vancha Kalpatam. By the course of Master Sri Guranga Gauranga, we have been hearing the very beautiful speech that was spoken by Prithu Maharaj to awaken amongst all the people faith in the Supreme Personality of Godhead, to impress upon them that all success in life, even in worldly dharma, everything depends upon the mercy of the Supreme Lord. So now that topic is complete. Now we're coming to the next topic, and that is first it was Shraddha, faith in God. Now we are discussing Shraddha in Bhajan, faith in Bhajan. So Prithu Maharaj is continuing. This is Canto 4, Srimad Bhagavatam, chapter 21. Now we come to verse 31 and 32. Prithu Maharaj is completed his presentation to great faith in God, now faith in bhajan. So he's saying, Yat pada seva biruchist tapasvinam ashesha janmo pachitam malam diha sadyakshino tanvaham edati sati yata padangushta vinisrita sarit nirdutisha ashesha manomalapuman asanga vijnana vishesha viryavan tad angrimule krita ketana puna na sanskritim klesha baham prapadyate. Very beautiful. He's saying that the tapasvini generally means ascetics, those who are doing tapasya. But here the word tapasvini means those who are experiencing tapatrai, the threefold miseries in this material world. So all those who are conditioned in this world, they are experiencing the miseries coming from nature. It's too hot, it's too cold. From their own bodies and minds. So that is from nature is adi-daivik klesh, and from the body and mind, adhyatmik klesh, and adibhotik klesh, trouble caused by other living entities. So here, tapasvini, those who are undergoing misery in this material world, if they have the abhiruchi, that means ever increasing taste, abhiruchi, ever increasing taste, to serve the lotus feet of the Lord, then that ever increasing taste, it cleanses the impurities which have gathered, which have accumulated in their minds over unlimited births. So yat pada seva biruchis tapasvinam. Ashesha means unlimited. Janma upachitam. Malam. Malam means contamination. Diya. In the consciousness. That is upachita. That is collected together over unlimited births. Sadhya chinoti. Immediately. Immediately when a person gets taste in serving Krishna, and that taste is gradually increasing, then there is the chin. Chinoti means that all that contamination in the heart is diminishing. And edati satiyata padangusta vinishrita sarit. So he's giving an example that it is just as the Ganga, the river Ganges, which is emanated from the Angushta, from the toes of the Supreme Lord, it washes away all sinful desires of the living entity. So in Bhagavad Gita, Sri Krishna has said that Vishaya vinivartante niraharasya vihinaha rasvajam rasopya pram drishtva nivartate. That if a person just tries to stop their senses from coming in contact with the external objects, this is the by force, artificial renunciation, then they can do it for some time. But internally, the samskars, the impressions of sense gratification still remain. However, param drishtva nivartate, when a person sees param, the supreme truth, he realizes Sri Krishna, then he is all the attachments, internal pollution, it is washed away, and he no longer has a hankering for external things. So his false renunciation just becomes swabhavik, natural. So then in the next verse, Prithu Maharaj is saying that what is the nature of that person whose mind has become cleansed from the impurities due to gradually increasing taste in service? He says they get the asanga vigyan vishesha, they become asanga vigyana vishesha viryavan. Viryavan, that means they have strength. What is that strength? Vigyana vishesh, that means they have vigyan, realization. And this is vigyan vishesh. This particular realization. So here Vishesh means Vishesh Sambandha Gyan. They realize a particular form of the Lord with which they are eternally related. So Asanga Vijnana Vishesha Viryavan means, Asanga here means detachment. So their detachment from this world is strong. Why? Because they have a direct realization of the Swarup of their Ishtadev. So such persons, they directly attain the service to the lotus feet of the Supreme Lord. So in this way, after describing faith in God in 2 verses, Prithu Maharaj described the effect of faith in bhajan. If your taste in serving Krishna is increasing gradually, the degree the taste is increasing, then to that degree the pollution is washed away, and one becomes detached from the world, and one becomes fixed in realization of his Ishtadev. That's why yesterday we were discussing the verse. Tada rajastamo bhavas kamalabhadestya cheta aita anavidam stitam sattve prasiddhati. Stitam sattve prasiddhati. He becomes fixed in sattva. It does not mean that the person becomes fixed in sattva gun, but rather it means in the stage of asakti. The first part of the verse, Tada rajastamo bhava, is describing Ruchi, Cheta eta anavidam stitam sattve prasiddhati, and then from Ruchi he comes to asakti. So here sattva means his mind becomes fixed on the Vishuddha Sattva Swarup of his Ishtadev. In other words, in asakti, the heart is so shining that the beautiful form of the Lord is reflected there, and his mind is fixed on that. Evam prasanna manaso. And then Bhagavad Bhakti Yogataha Bhagavad Tattva Vijnanam Mukta Sangasya Jayate. Then he enters into the stage of bhava and becomes a siddha. So, faith in the Lord, then followed by faith in bhajan, has been described by Prithu Maharaj. Now, Srila Jiva Goswami Pad has said that generally the Shravan Guru who is available for one, that Guru from whom you can hear on a regular basis, the Shravan Guru and the Shiksha Guru, they generally are the same person. Not in all cases, but in most cases, they are the same person. So, to give praman for this, you may remember that previously, in describing the Shravan Guru, Jiva Goswami Pad quoted the verse, Tasmad Gurum Prapadyeta Jigyashusayam Uttamam, describing the Shravan Guru. So, that is the 11th canto, chapter 3, verse 21. It's a very famous verse. Tasmad Gurum Prapadyeta. But the next verse is not so well known. But the very next verse, what comes after that verse? Tasmad Gurum Prapadyeta. Then the Shiksha Guru is described, the Bhajan Shiksha Guru. So this is 11.3.22. You can look up the verse if you have access to that. Prabuddha Yogendra is describing. Tatra Bhagavatam Dharman Shikshed Gurav Atma Durvata Daivata. So Tatra Bhagavatam Dharman Shikshed Gurav Atma Daivata Amaya Yanu Vritya Yais Tusyed Atmatma Dohari. Such an elegant verse. I always become shocked when I read any verse of Srimad Bhagavatam. How sweet it is. If you try to write a verse in Sanskrit, it's challenging. But Srimad Bhagavatam is just nectar after nectar in the most eloquent way and very concise, short, saying so many things in just a few words. So, in this beautiful verse, here Prabuddha Yogendra is saying one should regard one's Shiksha Guru, the Guru, that Shiksha Guru, as one's own Atma, oneself, and as the Supreme Lord, who is the very object of one's devotion. So Tatra Bhagavatan Dharmam Shikshet, the person who gives you shiksha in Bhagavad Dharma, Gurva Atma Daivata. So this is similar to the verse, Guru Devatatma, the same principle. One should, just as a person in this world, they're always thinking about myself. What can I do for myself? So in the process of bhajan, taking shelter of Guru, one thinks, oh, Guru is myself. And therefore, all the thoughts and all the endeavors, all the activities of the pran all have as their central point Sri Guru. And it must be, because the concept of the self that we have in the condition says is not the self, it is ahankar, it is complete ignorance. And we cannot just give it up and float empty in space. So, Sikshed Guru Atma Devata. One should think, Guru, this is myself. And now all my endeavors will be focused around the central point of Sri Guru. And this Atma, myself, is also Gurvatma Devata, non-different from my Ishtadev. My Supreme Lord, who is standing on the altar, has appeared in the form of a Vaishnava to become the medium through which I can serve Sri Krishna. So then, Prabhupada Yogendra is saying, Amaya Yanu Vitya Yes. Anuvritya. One should be engaged in service. Amayaya. Maya here, the word Maya here means deception. So Amayaya, without deception, without duplicity, without ulterior motive, without selfishness. It's very, I want to serve Guru. What do you want to do? Oh, I'm going to open preaching center in Hawaii. And to preach to the surfers, we're going to open a surfing club. No, I know devotees who have done this. So Amayaya means without duplicity, not superimposing what I want to do on Gurudev Seva, but accepting the instruction of Guru and serving according to that instruction. So Amayayanu Vrita Yais Tusyed Atmat Madohari. Very beautiful. Tusyed Atmat Madohari. By serving the Guru without duplicity, Amayaya, then Tusyed, one can satisfy Hari. Now, the word Hari is also described here, Atmat Mado. The first Atma means the Supreme Lord who is in the heart of every living entity. And Atma means himself, Do, who gives. So Atmat Mado Hari. By serving the spiritual master without duplicity, then the Supreme Lord who is in everyone's heart, he will give himself to you. This is amazing. How amazing is this? So Tusyet Atmat Mado Hari. By serving the spiritual master without duplicity, the Supreme Lord of all existence will give himself to that disciple. So now, Srila Jiva Goswami Pad, he describes that the mantra guru, that is the Diksha Guru, should only be one. And again, this verse has appeared, Labdvanugara Acharyat. So Acharyat, this is also in the Ekavachanam, it's a singular. So because the verse describing Labdva Anugraha, attaining Anugraha, in this context means attaining initiation according to Vaishnav Tantra. That is the Pancharatra. So attaining Pancharatric Diksha, that is indicated by the next line, Tena Sandarshita Agamaha. He's showing you the path of Agama. So Nigam means the Vedas and Agam means Tantra Shastra. So Jiva Goswami is commenting that because the word Guru in this verse, which is describing initiation, is in the singular. Therefore, one's mantra guru or diksha guru should be one. And if a person receives the diksha mantras again from another person, then it's to be considered that he is abandoned. It's tantamount to abandoning one's original mantra guru. So, in the Brahma Vaivarta Purana, there, the consequences of either knowingly abandoning the mantra guru or tantamount to abandoning him by receiving the mantras from another guru, what happens to the consciousness of that person? So in Brahma Vaivarta Purana, there is said, Bodhaha kalushitas tena dauratmyam prakati kritam guru yena pritchaktas tena chakta purahari. The person who pritchaktas, who has given up his mantra guru, then that person is dauratmya. He's a duratma. He's a wicked person. Bodhaha kalushitas. And his intelligence becomes completely polluted. So this is a practical thing. If you have been practicing bhakti for many, many years, then you may have had this experience. I have seen devotees who, from the worldly point of view, are extremely sharp intellectuals. And they have studied very deeply Sanskrit and all the Shastra. But for one reason or another, they gave up their guru and they went to another guru in another line and received initiation again. And then, as you see, at first it looks like they are still very sharp and intelligent. But wait 10 years, 20 years, and 30 years. And they wander very, very far away from the Siddhanta. Even though it seems they're very learned in Shastra, some speculation comes. So this is called bodha kalushitas, that the intelligence becomes polluted until they are very, very far away from the truth. And they cannot, everyone else can see, they can observe it, but they themselves, they cannot observe it. They're still convinced. I'm a great scholar, I'm a great pandit, I know the conclusions of the Vedas. So this verse of Brahma Vaivarta Purana is saying that the intellect becomes polluted by taking initiation again from another mantra guru. And that person who has given up his guru, Tena Chakta Purahari, it's to be understood that he's actually given up God himself. He's given up Krishna. Because he will develop a Prakrit conception of Krishna. So one who is worshipping a Prakrit conception of Krishna, that's not Krishna. Krishna is aprakrit, supernatural. Just like once there was one advocate. He was a lawyer, very educated person, had a high position in the society in Bengal. And he was always worshipping Gaura, Gaura, Gauranga, Gauranga. And then one day, his son became sick. And he was going to the temple and praying Gauranga, Gauranga, giving so many donations, everything. Please save my child. And then his son died. Then he gave up the service of Gauranga. I said, I don't believe in this Gauranga. This is all imagination. This is only stories. So when the news came to Prabhupada Bhaktisiddhanta Thakur, he said, you have to understand, he was not worshipping Gauranga. He was not worshipping our Mahaprabhu. He was worshipping Satan. Why? Because who is the person that blesses you with material worldly things? Who is that person? So here the idea is that he was worshipping the material energy. Wasn't actually Jai Sisi Guru Garanga Gandhava Girdhari Sisi Vada Shamasundar Juki Jai. He said he was not worshipping the Gauranga of Srivas Thakur, because Srivas Thakur was in the same situation. One day Kirtan was going on. And Mahaprabhu, after some time, he stopped. He said, why am I not feeling the same ecstasy today? It seems as if there's some dark shadow over this house. Srivas Thakur said, my Lord, what inauspiciousness could possibly be in that place where your lotus feet are present? But then some devotees informed Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, some hours before, during the kirtan, Srivas Thakur's son had died. And at that time, his wives and the servants of the house and relatives in another room, they were crying. And Srivas Thakur went there and said, stop crying. If you don't stop crying, not only will you lose a son, but you'll lose your husband as well. Because if you disturb the kirtan of Mahaprabhu, I'll jump into the Ganges. I'll give up my life if you disturb Mahaprabhu's kirtan. But then they all became quiet. And he went back in the kirtan, and the kirtan went on for some hours before Mahaprabhu. Then he brought up this point. So the devotees told Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, the Srivas Thakur's son died a few hours ago in the kirtan. And Mahaprabhu, he began to cry. And he said, how could I ever give up such a devotee? Right? Because he was already thinking of taking sannyas and leaving Navadip Dham. But now he's saying, how can I? How can I give up someone like Srivas Thakur, for whom even the happiness, or even if I were to experience a little inconvenience, this is worse for him than the death of his own family member. This is the standard of bhakti. So, here, in the Brahma-Vaivarta Purana, it is saying that if one gives up their mantra guru, then even though it may seem like he's worshipping Krishna, but he's given up Krishna. It is only apparent, it only looks like he's still a devotee of Krishna, and his intelligence has become bewildered. So, even though the mantra guru should never be rejected, if one has received mantra from a person who is not a Vaishnava, then that person can be abandoned. So in the Narad Pancharatra there it is said, Avaishnavopadishtena mantrena nirayam brajet punaschabhirina samyak grahad Vaishnavad guru. If one has received a mantra from a person who, there may be a guru, but a guru in worldly activities. A guru is teaching about dharma, artha, karma, moksha and so on. If one has received mantra from such a person who is not a Vaishnava, then one should give pranam and receive mantra again from a Vaishnava guru. So now, such a fascinating topic comes up. Srila Jiva Goswami Pad wants to explain that you cannot attain Vigyan, realization, by reading Shastra, but rather only by hearing from the Shravan Guru will the Vigyan, Shastriya Vigyan, realization of what is written in the Shastra arise within the heart. There is no other way. So, he will give some praman from Shastra, but first he's just stating, here is a verse, but what's the implication, the teaching of this verse? This is from Anuched 208 of Bhakti Sandarbha. Tatra Shravana Guru Samsaganaiva. Only by the association of the Shravan Guru, Shastriya Vigyan Utpati. There is the Utpati, the awakening of Shastriya Vigyan, realization of what is written in the scripture. So Shastriya Vigyan Utpati Syat. Na Anyata iti aha. What does Anyata mean? Otherwise. Na Anyata. Nanyata iti aha. Otherwise, it's not possible. So he stated it directly and indirectly. You can get it in this way, you cannot get it in any other way. So now the example that he's giving is so beautiful. This is from 11th canto. 11th canto, chapter 10, verse 12. You can note it down. Bhagavad Purana. Sorry, canto 11, chapter 10, verse 12. So here it said, Acharyo ranir adyasyad ante vas uttararani tatsandanam pravachanam vidya sandhi sukavaha. Very beautiful. So the meaning is, the word adya here means the bottom churning stick. Have you ever seen brahmanas make fire in a fire yagya, not with matches or with a lighter, in the traditional way? So they have one block of wood, which is very hard, and it has some shape cut out. Yeah? Then they have another stick, which is long, and someone stands there and applies, it has like a T shape on the top, and he pushes down from the bar on the top, and this wood goes into that round shape. So the big thing is like a long pestle, and it goes into the round shape in the bottom wood. And then some other wood, which is very fine and catches fire easily and quickly, that's put in the middle. And so then one Brahmin will be either side with a rope around the middle stick. And just like you churn, if you're churning yogurt, then they'll be pulling the ropes like this. And as they're pulling the rope, it's causing the middle stick to spin this way and then that way. This way and then that way. So there's pressure from above, and it's spinning around, and gradually from the friction between the top stick and the bottom stick, then the very light pieces of wood which is more combustible, more flammable, then that bursts into flames. Then they use this and then they light the fire. You see? So this is a beautiful example Krishna is giving in the 11th canto of Srimad Bhagavatam. He says, the Acharya is the bottom churning stick. And the disciple is the top churning stick. And the wood in the middle, that is the instruction. That is the pravachan. So this is the word which is commonly used, it's a Sanskrit word, and it's also used in Hindi. Pravachan means the katha. So the katha, the harikatha of the Guru, the pravachan, that's the wood in the middle. But the fire is the vigyan. That is the appearance of the illumination of divine realization of the scriptures. That is the fire. And when this fire appears, this divine knowledge, it gives happiness to both the Guru and the disciple. To both. So this is a very beautiful example. Sometimes it is a tendency of the neophyte devotee to create a situation where transcendental knowledge will appear by someone's independent endeavors. For example, the one Apasampradaya, the Kartabhajas, has its present day incarnation. The Kartabhaja Sampradaya has its present day incarnation. They call themselves the Ritvik movement. So that means they say, well, I'm taking initiation from an acharya who's already left this world, such as Srila Prabhupada, and I'll receive initiation just in a ceremony. But somehow or other, just by reading books and following whatever I want to glean from those books, then I'll get transcendental knowledge. But you can quote this verse. It's very clear that without associating with the Shravan Guru, the Shravan Guru is the bottom stick, you are the top stick. The Pravachan is the wood in the middle, and only then the fire will appear. Otherwise, the fire of Vigyan, divine realization, it cannot appear. So Sadhu Sangha is absolutely essential. And also, we can see that if you are rubbing the wood and then you stop before the fire has appeared, then it's not that the fire is just going to appear one day by itself. This will not happen. So Sadhu Sangha is required again and again until Anukramishati, one after another, Shraddha comes, then Bhav Bhakti, then Prema Bhakti. And Sadhu Sangha is required in each stage. We cannot rub now and there's no fire, and then later some fire will just pop out of nowhere. So this example is very clear. In Brihad Bhagavatamrita, Srila Sanatana Goswami, he's quoting from Srimad Bhagavatam, very beautiful verse about the power of Sadhu Sangha. Yat sevaya bhagavata kutastasya madhu dvisha ratiraso bhavetivra padayo vyasanadana. Very beautiful verse. You know, this verse was spoken by Vidura. Vidura, he's the half-brother of Dhritarashtra. Perhaps you know that Vichitravirya, he did not have any children. So his wives, the Satyavati, the wife of Shantanu Maharaj, she arranged for his wives, Ambika and Ambalika, that they should meet with Vyasadeva. And Vyasadeva should impregnate them. So when Vyasadeva came alone to meet with Ambika, then she was so terrified seeing this, because he's has long beard and his hair in jata, he's very old and doing austerities. He's not doing any grooming. He's completely just looks like a wild man living in a cave in the forest. So she was so terrified, she closed her eyes. And because she closed her eyes, then when she was conceiving, so Vyasadeva said, yes, she will have a son, but he'll be blind. And it was Dhritarashtra. So then it was the turn of Ambalika. So she thought, okay, I've got to keep my eyes open. I don't want any blind son. Should keep my eyes. So then she kept her eyes open. But when she saw Vyasadeva, he was such a fearsome, frightening figure, she became pale. So then she conceived a child, but he was completely pale. That was Pandu. So Pandu means very pale, fair complexion. So then Satyavati said, this is not going very well. We're trying to produce an heir, and this is not working out so well. So then she went back to Ambika and said, try again. You should try again. Ambika said, yes, of course. She said, I'm not doing that again. So then she took her maidservant and decorated her maidservant with her own ornaments and pushed her in as a substitute for herself to avoid meeting with Vyasadeva again. So then that maidservant came and she met with Vyasadeva in a serving mood, in a mood of service. And Vyasadeva was very pleased and said, oh, you will have a son and he will be a great personality. Who will it be? Vidura. It was Vidura. So Vidura, he's an incarnation of Yamaraj himself, Dharmaraj himself. And so when Vidura was staying in the palace, Duryodhan, wicked Duryodhan, did not appreciate him. Why? Because he was a good person. And when Duryodhan was trying to kill the Pandavas by many means, again and again Vidura was saving them. For example, when he made the house of lac and sent them, oh, I've arranged a very nice place for you to stay. You should go and have some leisure there. But the house was highly inflammable and he wanted to burn them alive. But Vidura understood the plan and gave a hint to Yudhishthira so that he could escape. So because of this, Duryodhan, he didn't like Vidura and he insulted him. Who are you? You are the son of a maidservant. You are not really of our royal family. And And when Vidura was insulted, very good. He took that as a pretext to leave and go on Tirtha Yatra, go on Parikrama. So giving up his royal crown, though he was not, but he was very wealthy. He was like the prime minister of the Dhritarashtra Maharaj. So giving up his crown, giving up his wealth, he left everything and he went on Parikrama. For a long time, for many months. Then when he came back to the palace, what happened? Duryodhana and all of his brothers were dead. The entire dynasty was completely destroyed. This is the effect of Vaishnava Parad. And Dhritarashtra was still there. And Vidura is so powerful that just by he preached to Dhritarashtra, and hearing his words, even Dhritarashtra, who was really down in the modes and had committed so many offenses, he became inspired and he left home and attained mukti, liberation. He could not attain pure bhakti because he'd made so many offenses, but he was liberated. So Vidura is a very great person. And before leaving this world, Krishna told him he should meet with Maitreya. So when he was traveling, then he met with Maitreya. And when Vidura met with Maitreya, he spoke this verse. Yat sevaya bhagavata kutastasya madhudvisha ratira so bhavettivra padayo vyasanadana. The meaning is this. Yat sevaya bhagavata. By serving great devotees, then what will happen? Ratira so. One will attain rati, love. Don't make it complicated. In the Gita it is said, Tadvidi pranipatena paripasena sevaya upadekshyanti te jnanam jnanenas tattvadarshina. Just try to know the truth by approaching a spiritual master. Bow down, surrender, ask questions and render service. Those who are tattvadarshi, they have seen the truth. They can impart transcendental knowledge to us. What is that? That means they can also make us also see that truth. So those who have the darshan of Krishna, they can explain bhakti in a very simple way. And if we just follow it very simply, we'll also have the darshan of Krishna. Jnaninas tattvadarshana. So, yat sevaya bhagavata. By serving the Bhagavatas, what happens? Ratiraso bhavat tivra. Tivra means intense. One will develop very intense love for Krishna, who is kutasto. Kutasto. Kutasta means fixed. What is fixed? Nothing in this world is fixed. That Krishna is kutasta means that he is beyond time. He is the eternal transcendental reality. Past, present and future are included within him. He knows everything, past, present and future. He himself is inconceivable without beginning and end. And the word kut also means an enigma, a mystery. So kutasta, Krishna himself is achintya, inconceivable. The material intellect, it cannot approach him in any way. So one will develop love for that Krishna who is sarvakala vyapi, pervading in all time, past, present and future, and who is achintya, inconceivable. So yat sevaya bhagavata kultastasya madhudvisha. But he's also madhudvish, Madhusudan. It has so many meanings. Madhu can mean a demon, and Dvish means the enemy of that demon who killed that demon, or Madhusudan, who killed the demon Madhu. But Madhu can also mean Prem, love. And Sudan means one who drinks. One who is like Madhusudan, a honeybee, who's always drinking the honey of Prem. One will develop love for him. Sometimes the Braj Gopis call Krishna Madhusudan in a sarcastic way. Why is that? if Krishna was supposed to meet with Srimati Radharani, but instead he went to the Kunj of Chandravali, then the gopis would call Krishna Madhusudan. That means you are the enemy of Prem. You don't like Prem. He was a very great Prem waiting for you, but you are Madhusudan. You are the enemy, Madhudvish. You are the enemy of Prem. You don't like love. That's why you went there to that Chandravali. Ratiraso bhavet tivra padyo vyasanadana. By serving the Mahabhagavat Vaishnavas, what will be the result? Love will manifest in the heart for that Krishna, Rati, for Madhusudan, and Padayo Vyasanadana. Vyasanadana means who takes away the Vyasana, sufferings. So in our life, we can have so many sufferings. Sometimes your own family members may become angry with you. Your wife or husband or parents, they may throw you out of the house or give you so many problems. But Krishna is such, Padayo Vyasanadana, the lotus feet of Krishna, they turn suffering into joy. Just like Vidura himself. Oh, you are nonsense. Like this. He wasn't physically thrown, but he was abused in such a way that no person who has dignity can remain in that place. A person who has dignity can never remain in a place where they're insulted in this way. So, even being abused and criticized by others or by sadhu sangha, it becomes bliss. Vidura was thinking, oh, very good. Now I'll go on Tirthayatra. Or we see the example of the Brahmin of Avantipur. You know the Brahmin of Avantipur? He left his home and he was wandering. And wherever he went, everyone was abusing him. There were children were throwing stones at him. When it was about time to eat, someone would come up and start peeing on his plates. Was he disturbed? No. Padayo Vyasanadana. That by the power of sadhu sangha and taking shelter of the Supreme Lord, those things which seem like misery and suffering, they turn into bliss. Like Srila Haridas Thakur. Srila Haridas Thakur was beaten in 22 marketplaces, but he was praying for those who were beating him. Always chanting Hare Krishna, chanting the holy name in bliss. So this is the power of sadhu sangha. It completely changes our whole experience of reality. It changes our body which is material. Then that material body becomes its effects all become completely neutralized, and in its place a spiritual body is manifest, which has the inclination for hearing, chanting, remembering and serving. This is the power of sadhu sangha. So Padayo Vyasanadana. It may be that you are staying in Vrindavan, and being in Vrindavan has many challenges, many difficulties. And chanting Hari Nam every day and following the process of bhakti, it can be challenging sometimes. But by sadhu sangha, that which is vyasana, giving difficulty, is all turned, becomes very easy and very simple and very relishable. All the difficulties become transformed and become joyful. So, Yat Sevaya Bhagavata Kutosta Madhudvisha Ratiraso Bhavetriva Padayo Vyasanadana. Here, another meaning. Kutasta. Kutasta means that Krishna, not who is situated in mystery, not who is fixed in a, but the word Kut can mean the tip of a mountain. Like Anukut Mahotsav. It means the pinnacle of grains. So here Kutosto means you will develop love for that Krishna who is playing at Giriraj Govardhan. On the top of Giriraj Govardhan. Or Kutosto means you develop love for that Krishna who has celebrated the Anukut Mahotsav with all of the Brijbasis. This love will come. So Padayo Vyasanadana. Rati Raso, Rati Rasa. You develop love, and this love will be full of rasa as well. That means that those who have the darshan of a sadhu, they're actually having the darshan of Krishna already, but they don't realize it. They will realize it later. Sadhu nam samachittanam sutram matkritatmanam darshanan no bhaved bhanda yatak shnur savitur yata. Krishna himself said, my sadhus who have dedicated their whole life to me, that if you see them, if you're looking at them, then there's no bondage. There's no obstacle between you and me. Just as one who looks towards the sun, there's no shadow, there's no obstacle between the eye and the sun. So when we see a sadhu, when we associate with the sadhu, there's no obstacle to seeing Krishna. Because first of all, the sadhu is the manifestation of Krishna, and later we will also realize that. So, rati raso bhavet tibra. One who will associate with the sadhu, have the darshan of a sadhu, he will have the darshan of the Rasa Leela of Shri Krishna. He will see how Shri Krishna is dancing in Rasa Leela with all Braj Gopis. Padanyasa, Bhuja Vidutibir, Sasmita, Bhru Vilasa, Bhajan Madhyaishchala Kutapatayi, Kundala Gandalole, Swidyad Mukhya Kapara Rasana, Grante Akrishna Bandho, Gayantasta Tadita Ivatap, Mega Chakri Virejahu. Shukadev Goswami Pad said, in this Rasa Leela, then the gopis, they're like flashes of lightning. And they're dancing in a circle with Krishna. So it's like a circle of rain clouds and lightning flashing. And they're dancing in such a way. Padanyas, they're placing their feet according to the tal. Tai ta tai tai ta tai 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 drimiti 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 triki 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 bopatam bopatam tam. This mantra is given in Govinda Lilamrita. What type of mridanga beats they are placing their feet? That is the padanyas in this Rasa Leela. But after dancing for a long time in the Rasa Leela, then gopis become tired. So here the inner meaning of this verse, Padayo Vyasanadana, Krishna takes away the suffering of the feet, means that those who see a sadhu and engage in the service of the sadhu, they will see during the Rasa Leela, after gopis have been dancing for a long time, Krishna will tell them to sit down, and he will sit at the feet of gopis and massage their feet and take away the suffering of their lotus feet. This is the power of sadhu sangha. Padayo Vyasanadana. Or they will see Krishna in the Rasa Leela. Krishna will say, where did my flute go? Where's my flute? Someone has stolen my flute. Abradhirani te daro bangsi mori jo bangsi mori prana basat he so bangsi kai chori Abradhirani Radhirani te daro bangsi mori. Oh Radhika, give me back my flute. Someone has stolen my flute. I think that you have it. You should return it to me. And all the Sakis are laughing. Oh, Krishna, why are you so careless? Why are you crying over a piece of flute? You're the son of a king. There are so many pieces of bamboo in the forest. You can have. Why are you upset over this? Then Krishna will say to Madhumangal, oh Madhumangal, you are learned Brahmin. Tell me, who has stolen my flute? Then Madhumangal will say, wait, I'll have to meditate. And he'll make astrological chart and then take his Brahmin thread and meditate on his mantra and say, from my calculations, it was Lalita. Then Krishna will have an excuse to catch Lalita and take her into a kunj for search. You know, in the airports, they have a special department, and they tell the ladies, oh, your search has to be there. Actually, this is all seva. This is all seva. The gopis have deliberately stolen Krishna's flute only to create an excuse that he'll search them one by one. Madhumangal also, He may know who has the flute, but he will not say who has the flute. He will say the others one by one so that Krishna will have the chance to search them. So ratira so bhavetriva padyo vyasanadana. By sadhu sangha, by associating and serving with the sadhu, then the power of this is that you will one day see the beauty of Krishna's Rasalila and all of these wonderful pastimes. Oh, here, Padayo Vyasanadana, he takes away the suffering of the feet. 1 minute. Means that one day Krishna will approach you in your Swarup and say, oh, Radhika is so upset with me. Please, can you say some good words on my behalf? And sit down and begin to massage your feet to persuade you to go and say some good words on behalf of Srimati Radhika. So, Padayo Vyasanadana, now the meaning comes, by the power of serving pure Vaishnavas, the day will come that Krishna will massage your feet to take away his suffering. Or another meaning, Yatte sujata charanam buruham staneshu, that Krishna, his lotus feet are feeling the suffering of separation from Srimati Radhika. So by associating with pure Vaishnavas, by their kripa, one day you will have the darshan looking through the lattice windows, the gavaksh of the kunj, and you'll see Radhika holding, because the word kut can mean mountain, but it can also mean the breast. So kutasto madhudvisha, that Krishna whose lotus feet are situated on the heart of Radhika, and by the touch of the body of Radhika, then Padayo Vyasanadana, the suffering of separation of Krishna is taken away. When his lotus feet are kutasta, situated on the heart of Radhika, you will see this. This is Yat Sevaya Bhagavata, the power of Sadhu Sangha. Bole Vrindavan Bihari Lal ki jai, Varasani Wal ki jai, Jai Jai Sri